The College of Agriculture, Food and Natural Resources here at Mizzou celebrated its 150th anniversary in 2020. During that 150 years, there have been several major wins, including helping to end a devastating grasshopper plague in the Plains state. And also, they helped patent soy oleic oil that's used today. This history here is pretty spectacular to uncover, especially a discovery 75 years ago that proved to be a true medical breakthrough.
I'm walking in some big footsteps here.
Take a step onto Sanborn Field and you're stepping into crop research history.
Oh, Sanborn Field is historic because we're the third oldest continuous site in the world.
Driving by this research field at the University of Missouri is very unassuming, but to Reinbot, it was the root of so many great advancements in plant and soil science today.
We've got continuous treatments for 135 years. We've learned so much, and this is where so many of our common agricultural practices all started from the knowledge that we gained here.
But the soil is also the foundation of medicine.
One of the interesting facts that is often overlooked is that in any soil, you will find antibiotics because it's just the nature of how these bacteria survive in nature.
75 years ago, this plot was home to a groundbreaking discovery.
We had known about penicillin, we'd known about some other type of antibiotics, but they were only about 40% effective. And they were looking for that golden antibiotic, that one that would really be very effective.
We got to keep in mind that that was the age of the antibiotic discovery in the United States and worldwide.
With so much effort to find microorganisms that could produce an antibiotic that wasn't just effective, but not toxic to humans or animals, researchers right here at Sanborn Field were on a mission.
A gentleman that was a former faculty member here was working for Letterley Labs at the time, Benjamin Duggar. He knew the director of Sanborn Field at the time, who was William J. Albrecht, who was the soil microbiologist, and he asked him for some soil samples from Sanborn Field.
Those samples weren't just taken from any spot at Sanborn Field, they were taken from plot 23.
He knew that this plot right behind us that had been for 60 years managed the same way. It was a perennial crop, but no inputs. We should have a lot of biology, but a pretty hostile environment for them. If any place could have an antibiotic, it's going to be here.
Later that year, they made the big discovery, one that proved to be a breakthrough in the medical world.
They called it Aureomycin. That's the golden color, Aureo. And that became an antibiotic, Aureomycin itself. It's been used for decades. It's still being used in animals, and also it's the best treatment for Rocky Mountain fever there is still today.
But in the first 30 to 40 years, it was the go-to antibiotic.
The Aureomycin antibiotic in the tetracycline class is still very useful today because of their mechanism of action. They attacked protein synthesis in the cell of these bacteria. So what that means is, because it is very effective on these rickettsia diseases, in other words, like the Rocky Mountain spotted fever, it's also on Lyme disease and anthrax. And it's because those particular bacteria are able to infect and inhabit deep within the tissue of a human being, and they do not become resistant.
It was first discovered at the end of 1945 and then patented in 1949. It then underwent clinical trials, and one of the first recipients was Toby Hockett, who at the time lived just outside of Washington, D.C.
I was born September 11th, 1943. Sometime around early 1949, I got a real bad stomach ache, and my parents did not pay attention. And it got worse and worse before they finally rushed me to the hospital. It turns out that I had a ruptured appendix.
Hockett says the doctors didn't give his parents much hope for his recovery, but the doctors wanted to treat Hockett with an antibiotic that had recently been developed, which was Aureomycin.
I was treated with Aureomycin. I was in that hospital for 1 month, and when I came out, it was sometime in the spring of 1949. By September, I remember I started first grade.
So if you would not have received that antibiotic, do you think you would even be alive today, Toby?
No, that's absolute.
Hockett says it didn't just save his life, but as a defense attorney, he worked to save other lives, taking on death penalty cases and helping clients through drug court.
You can't express that in words. The only thing I think about is what I was able to do with my life as a result of surviving that.
But Sanborn Field isn't just home to the past. It's also uncovering potential tools for the future.
We've got a lot more Aureomycin discoveries out here. We just got to look for them. And it may not be an antibiotic, but it could be something as groundbreaking as that. And that's what gets me excited.
What a discovery. Well, from discussions of buying acres or rationing demand, what do these market discussions even mean? It's a question one viewer wants to know. That's in customer support next.
Who is the market?